kidding.
It's not gonna come yet. Hey everybody, welcome back. Audio checks. Yay, we're a little rusty because it's been, well, the voices in this head are a little rusty.
The NPCs.
Oh, the NPCs. Yeah, it's weird. They talk to me in my dreams, and I'm just like, let me write that down. So, welcome back, everybody. It's been a couple weeks. We've missed you. I had a business trip last week, so it was really crappy to have some super awesome tension that these people put together. This just wonderful, traumatic moment for me watching all of this unfold, and then for me to go, sweet, bench it for 2 weeks, guys. We'll see ya. Yeah, there's been a lot of panicked faces, I think, in our Discord waiting for today to come up. So, welcome back to Cyorion Chronicles with the lovely people of the Queen's Froth Crown, which will let them introduce themselves, starting with crap. We didn't do it. I'm sorry. We let you down, Lord Psycho.
Late.
We forgot.
You forgot what? What did we forget?
I'm sorry.
Zach didn't forget. Zach, do it.
I did forget. No, I. Good morning, Cyorion.
Excellent. Thank you, Zach. I saw the realization on Zach's face when I saw Lord Psycho's name in chat. I was like, crap, we let him down, man. So we'll start introductions off with Zach.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zach. I play Dorian the Dragonborn Barbarian. Also, hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Hey,
Nate.
Mom.
Hi, I'm Nate. I play Soren, the half-elf blade singer rogue.
The man whose face is on a cup, David.
Hi, I'm David, and I play Batran, the human witch warlock, and sometimes an Altarian. Sometimes.
I was so very excited to see that your face was on a cup again. I know it's probably been on cups before, but to see it still being produced on cups makes me very happy.
Well, it's not as surreal as some of the tattoos I've seen.
That's true.
Oh, no.
Speaking of that, I got to tell you something, David.
Oh,
No, no.
Just
Oh
kidding.
God.
Oh goodness.
Oh.
We'll go to Magic.
Hello, everybody. My name is Magic, and I play Tarak, the half-orc Wave Shadow Monk.
Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Maximiel, the Tiefling Sorceress Bard.
And last but not least, DJ Josh.
Whoop whoop.
We-
I'm Josh. I play the human Jaeger Hellstrom. He is a gunslinger alchemist.
Ooh, so sassy. And I'm Ben,
Ooh, sassy.
DM the DM. Side note, David, I was watching random TikTok streams last night and found the Slumber Party live channel, and they show like nostalgic movies, and they were showing the Power Rangers movie. And I wanted to jump into chat and be like, I played D&D with Zordon. You all suck. You sit here and nostalgia, and I get to live it every week.
That's right. It's hilarious.
It was fun. I was like, I want to text Josh, I want to text Zach, and I want to text David, and it was like 2 a.m, and I'm watching Power Rangers on an old CRT TV streamed to TikTok, and it's just called Slumber Party. And I was like, man,
That's amazing.
it was so good.
That's a lot.
I just needed like the crazy neon colored Taco Bell cup with like the blue and greens and stuff, and I would have been good. So last time we were here, you all had woken up over on an island in the Katala Keys, and the name is escaping me right now because one of the other groups is actually over there right now, but they're next door on the island of Luvios. So here I am not remembering the Utamples Island, but you guys were...
Alea, is it? No, they were... Never mind.
There's an island name for it. All those islands have names now because there's a group rampaging around up there. And I say rampage because literally yesterday they faced a very strange T-Rex spore monster that was very not...
Ooh.
Yeah. So much nope.
Nope.
I started to describe it. It was just horrified faces all the way down. Loved it.
Nice.
So you guys were up in the Utamples homeland with a very surprised Morphello, just super happy to see you guys at the most inopportune moments, as always, and a very drunk Sarai, who was out just having the time of her life among the halfling warrior women. There were some greetings exchanged after some initial tension. Maximiel introduced everybody, and there was some wrestling that happened down on the beach that I think one of our people might still be recovering from a knockout blow. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But the next day, or that after a little bit of partying that evening, you all got some rest, some very much needed rest after literally the longest day of D&D ever. And did I break something on the stream here?
Nope, everybody's all.
Yep. Hold on. The little share my stream thingy went gone. There. Now the cameras are fixed again. I know what I'm doing. I have no idea why that shut off. Strange. Anywho, you all had a nice afternoon the next day, kind of getting to see some old friends. Agatha and David were there, as well as our noodle making Loxodon friend. And then Jaeger had to mess everything up because he's got a super high perception.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
Hold on.
Blame me again.
So Jaeger messed everything up. I won't blame you. And you noticed and notified Soren pretty quickly there in the privacy of outside, I guess, that there was a strange stringy tendrils attached from Tavern to Agatha, David, and Isabel Rosewood. Nothing on Sarai. She seemed good to go. And you all decided quickly that it was time to leave very rapidly. Some of you a little more confused than others, but Soren ushered you out the door. You opened the door back to Soren's arcanery, and a very tense standoff ensued between everybody. If I remember correctly, running down the list, Jaeger was trying to get everybody out to close the door, as was Soren. Maximiel was trying to dive back in because she wanted to see what the heck was going on, why people were freaking out. Botrin may have just been kind of like, let's go through and talk about things. And then Tarak tried to dive in to get his foot in the way as Doran tackled him to the ground to keep him from going. It was tense.
There was a flash grenade.
There was a flash grenade that got set off.
I retreated outside.
Camped outside, yeah.
Botrin got the heck out. And then as the smoke cleared, the door was shut and you were holding the handle. Put the handle back into your pocket, and a thin tendril was escaping from the handle over to Sarai's foot. And that's where we come back, is everybody has a brief moment to catch their breaths as you all look around and realize some of you are pinned to the ground, others knocked aside, doors smashed in your faces as the dust clears from this flash grenade, and you all realize that all of you are still here. Soren, you and also Jaeger are the only two at this point that notice the stringy tendril coming off the handle attached to Sarai.
Point of order before we begin. I also witnessed something when I
Been 2 weeks.
waited for a moment and 2 people disappeared.
The dragons?
Don't remember that.
Yeah.
Dragons.
The dragons came.
Do we have
Rode
dragons
away.
with us? We came them with us. We took
Yeah.
They
them with
came
us.
through with us, and then as soon as everything went down, they were like, "Okay, bye."
Yep. So
They left?
So you took a moment and
So did she.
she took a moment and took off with Norelf to get, because shit was going down and she had to get out of there.
Okay.
So yes,
then
noticed that happen.
first thing I get off of Tarak and just to everyone, they're gone. Sorry, Tarak, and I pull him up if he allows me to.
Yeah. That was not the right thing to do. We should not have abandoned them. That's what...
Pull on the string. Still attached to the handle, right?
Yeah, are you pulling on it from your daughter?
Yeah, trying to see if it's connected and if it comes off.
How much of a... What's the concern on Soren's face outwardly when you were doing this? Are you actively doing this?
Panicking.
Actively doing this, like trying to pull it off her and making a show of it? Or are you subtly trying to explore what this thing is?
I'm trying to see if it comes off. I'm not like making a show of it, but I'm trying to see, does this detach?
So as you pull initially, and wow, that just keeps being really crummy today.
So the thing keeps saying that you like minimized it or that you put it away and then it vanishes, like you pause the stream and then it vanishes.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll just do this. Stick it over here. Thank you. I'm trying to get too much stuff up because I have a lot of notes up for this one, obviously. There we go. That should fix it.
What? Why?
I don't know. Sarai. Kind of goes with her and like pulls her foot, and she like slips, like loses her footing. It's like, "Ugh, what the?" And looks up and is like, "Dad." She sees you holding the handle, and you are looking at this little thread that you have in your hand, and she's looking past it at you. She hasn't like clocked that there's something there yet.
Hug it again.
She hugs a little bit, and then all emotion and reaction falls from her face. She looks like she's in a fugue state. Just kind of dazed and standing there looking at you.
Explain.
She doesn't say anything.
I walk over to her. Do her eyes change at all?
They don't look alive, and they look like there's no life behind them. They have the color, but it looks like painted glass almost. And then after a brief moment of you standing there staring at them, they change colors. They have a glossy yellowish red color that you've seen one other place before, when a tavern opened its big gaping maw and some eyes appeared and looked down at you and smiled and spat out a handle.
A doorknob.
Tavern?
Explain.
Are you okay? Are you hurting Sarai?
Tavern's never been one to respond verbally to anything, whether it's incapable of doing that or whether it chooses not to. And you see Sarai's this form trying to make words, but it appears like it just inhabited this body and doesn't know how to make it speak. And the mouth is moving, and you hear little.
She was talking a minute ago.
What if
Wasn't
you
she?
did
Sarai
yes
was
or no
speaking to you with
questions?
Sarai's voice. It sounded
Right.
like Sarai. The mannerisms are Sarai.
Now all of a sudden it can't talk?
Now it can't. They very quickly shifted from acting and being Sarai to as if the plug was pulled and it was no longer Sarai and it just became a shell.
Can you understand what we're saying? Can you do yes or no? Yes? No.
It starts to shake for a moment, and then the body starts to drip and fall away at the jaw. The head starts to open and roll back and lift up as the lower jaw falls and melds into the rest of the body, and the floor in this large black space begins to open up. And you watch as the flesh that formed Sarai's body shifts and mutates almost like almost like cells of a plant leaf changing color. And this stretches to a long putty-like band and goes up 6.5 feet tall, and the rest of it forms an outline of a very large door frame. I need you to make a strength saving throw, Soren.
Dog shit. 7.
The handle is ripped from your hand as the blackness is filled in with a door that seems slightly familiar to you. Just roll a d20 for me. This is kind of a flat, see if you put it together check.
12.
Over 10 is what we were looking for. It reminds you of the Kosoba trees that were made of like fungus. The exterior barky layer is what this door is made of. And the handle pulls into it and clicks and opens.
You said it opens? Like we can see inside?
And you can't see anything inside. It appears dark on the other side.
Black. All right.
Do you have dark vision actually?
Tarak steps forward and tries to peer inside.
Those of you
Tarak
with
is
dark vision can see that there is a large open room on the other side. The walls don't appear to have any defined shape, making it up to be like a room that a person would create out of wood and someone could inhabit. It just appears to be a naturally occurring shape in a void. There doesn't appear to be any benches or chairs or doors or windows. It just appears to be a hollow space.
You said it's made of wood?
The door itself is made of the bark exterior of those trees from Kosoba that looked like there were mushrooms.
The interior, you said is not made of wood?
Is fleshy, almost like a fungal flesh. Like the interior of a mushroom is that kind of porous look that
like
you see.
Striation kind of thing. Okay.
I apologize for the sniffles. I'm just getting over a cold.
What the fuck?
What happens if Max puts her arm in?
Tarak is going to prevent Max from doing that if she's going to try to put her arm in. I say, wait. Can you use those lights to try to see what's in there?
She snaps, squelches some buzzing lights, and sends them in to do like a 360.
Collapse to my knees on the floor in front of the doorstep.
Soren.
What happened?
That was not your daughter. I have
It was not Sarai.
no idea what is going on.
It was a mimicry, I believe.
Why? I don't...
The lights go into the space, and it
Max isn't looking.
fills the room with light. And as you're all looking at Soren as he's trying to figure out exactly what happened, you see movement out of the corner of your eye in the room. And I'm going to pause briefly, as this has been happening for about a minute. Atron, you noped out to the street.
I did.
There was a bit of a commotion inside, and then a strange sound of stretching wood and flesh noises. Didn't sound like bones breaking, but it sounded like things being pulled to their limit. And looking back where you were, you can see the forms of your friends, and then next to them is a large object. And it's very hard to see through not only the dusty frosted glass, but the curtains partially closed.
I take the tattoo that's near my temple, and I wind it around my finger, and I cast Detect Thoughts at that object, it to see if it's still part of Tavern, if it's still part of the mimic creature. I want to be able to see if I can read its mind or connect to it and kind of make some sort of communication conduit.
Double checking something on detect thoughts. So usually this doesn't affect anything that doesn't speak any language, but this does speak a language that is so far lost to time it doesn't have a name. But it does still speak a language. You can detect surface thoughts for free. If you want to try to probe deeper, you can, but surface thoughts is fear, concern, and sorrow and guilt.
I step back into the room and I say those things aloud. Fear, sorrow, guilt.
And make an insight check.
Oh no.
Just straight.
Yeah, just straight up insight check.
That's a natural 20.
Ooh.
It's not-
Nice.
That's not good for you.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
You can tell immediately this is Tavern,
Mhm.
but you've now touched a consciousness that is far vaster than you ever imagined was attached to this creature. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh shit.
Sweet.
Ooh,
That's a 19. 25.
Nice.
On fire.
So with a 19 for a total of 25, the panic immediately sets in because you immediately feel your mind falling into just a vast abyss of knowledge and memories, and they're coming at you in fragmented waves. And you're able briefly to right yourself, but the rest of you outside, as Batran begins to fall to a knee, see the movement from the room beyond that doorway flash past you to Batran. As
Oh boy.
Batran begins to fall down, in this brief second you see a blur of motion move past you, and you look back to see Batran being caught by what appears to be about a 2.5 foot tall old stool. It has large, glowing yellowish red eyes underneath the top of the cap of this big mushroom. Grass and molds growing off of the cap of it. A long, curved wooden staff. And its legs appeared to come out on a sheet of moss, not moving but sliding across the room, and you can see that it's attached back to the doorway, and it gets a shoulder underneath Batran and catches him.
So I just want to make sure I understand what's happening. The door frame swiggity swoosed its way across down the stairs over to the doorway to Batran, built a chair mushroom thing,
Now a
and caught him?
little mushroom creature zipped out, still attached by fungus and moss,
Oh.
back to the doorway.
Okay, so it came out from the doorway.
Yep, and caught Batran.
Okay. Okay.
Did anybody else see a little mushroom man?
Oh, he is so cute. I really hope you're not evil. And I really hope you didn't hurt Sarai.
It like props Batran back up with the stick, doing its best. Batran, you're looking at a separate entity that as you make eye contact with it, your detect thoughts is moving through it as well.
Am I picking up anything from it as far as benign or
Have you ever heard of the Wood Wide Web?
the Wood Wide Web?
The mycelial
That's-
network.
You are
Yeah, that's so cool.
speaking to you are detecting the thoughts of an entire fungal network.
Okay.
So, yes, you are detecting slight variations, but the same. And it is the same entity, which as soon as you lock eyes, you realize that you didn't cast a spell again, and you are still detecting its thoughts, and its thoughts are immediately of your concern and ensuring that you are safe and not hurt. And it kind of gets you propped back up, and it brushes off your shoulder, and it slides back to the doorway.
I just watch this thing like scoot past me. Does it acknowledge the fact that I'm just like sitting in front of the doorway at all, or is it just scooting?
It scoots like back around you on the same path it came, and the moss just kind of pulls up with it. What's left of that like fungal trail that it left. There's a little bit of moisture on the floor of your shop, and it comes back to rest in the doorway, and is standing there holding its stick, kind of looking at you guys, and little arm comes out and it goes like beckons you inside.
What the fuck is happening? Who are you? Where is my daughter? I do not have the fucking patience for this today.
I stride forward and enter into the door.
You watch Botrin move past the threshold, and is illuminated by Maximil's dancing light.
Yep.
And
if it goes down, it comes back up.
nothing appears to happen to Botrin as they walk past the threshold of the door. You see the little fungal cap creature kind of like look up at you with its eyes, and then its little stumpy, handless appendage like motions to its face, but it's just a pair of eyes, a large mushroom cap. There's no nose, no mouth, and it just kind of like
Would I insight that means it can't speak?
exactly.
Are you capable of some form of communication other than telepathy? Just yes or no, nod or shake. Comprehend languages.
All right.
If Max sees Soren cast that, she'll cast it as well.
Double check and comprehend languages. Yeah, you comprehend languages, and it's not speaking to you, and it's not making any noise at all, but it is beckoning you inside. And then the inside, obviously, suddenly this thing has an idea. It gets very excited. The walls kind of shake on the inside with the excitement and anticipation, and it runs back in, and it puts its arms up as if to like grab something. And it's facing a wall away from you guys.
Did Botrin already go inside?
Yeah, Botrin's over standing next to this thing, and it's standing next to Botrin. And it like puts its arm and it like thuds Botrin in the side, and it goes like this, and it goes motions for you to help catch something, Botrin.
I raise my arms up to grab whatever it's trying to pull down.
What are the rest of you guys doing in this moment?
I'm not fucking going
Soren,
there.
I think
I'll
this is
follow
the best
Botrin.
way to figure out what happened with Sarai. It's the
Tarak
only way to know what happened.
is walks closer to Botrin. Botrin, do you know what is going on? Who is this creature? What happened?
Vast mind. Millennia of memories.
Is everybody back inside now, or is anybody still back in the arcanery?
I'm standing next to Soren wherever Soren is.
I am sitting in the doorway. I am not fucking going in there.
Yeah. Tarak has not entered either. He's
Doorway's still open.
I'll squeeze Soren's shoulder as he's on the ground. Remember our deal, and I'll walk in.
What do you,
I'll get her back.
As you guys are deciding what to do, in the distance you hear what sounds like shouting, but it's
From where?
You can't do this. Botrin, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as Morphello gets yanked out of the wall, and you and this little creature try to grab Morphello.
What the fuck?
It's a 10.
You and the poor little toadstool creature just both poof onto the ground, and Morfello lands on top of you with a thud and just goes, I will burn down your front door. Where the hell are we? What? And looks back and sees Botrin. Oh, Botrin, I'm so sorry. Please let me help you to. This is where you guys go when you're not. And turns and sees the door and the rest of you standing outside, and is like, what in the hell is going on?
Can I
Insight
grab
check
Morfello?
if he's confused or if he is like.
You can insight check to see if he's confused. Who else said something? Because there was like
Me, sorry. I'm gonna grab Morfello.
That's a 27.
Morfello is genuinely confused. Like the screams were of Morfello being torn through substrate and mimic stuff, and he was thrust out this side against their will. And
Cool.
you grab Morfello and viciously and angrily, or just to get a hold of him?
Just to get a firm grip on him, got like by the shoulders.
Oh, Doran. And the head just kind of twists around and looks directly in your eyes.
I try to get the little mushroom creature back to its feet.
It like brushes itself off and stands up and looks to the rest of you guys.
Does Morfello look like he's. Where is this? Like a kid that knows that it's in trouble because whatever it did has been discovered, like a kid that like broke a vase?
No,
Or does he look just confused to be
he's
here?
confused as hell. He has no idea what's going on.
And I'm just going to squeeze his shoulders and say, you have a lot of explaining to do and very little time to do it in.
The flesh like oozes out your fingers as you like squeeze down. He goes, you'll find that doesn't work very well on me, but I would love to explain what's going on, but I have genuinely not the slightest clue. This is an interesting part of tavern that I've never been to, and I'm very confused.
Let's just try to figure out what's going on. Morfello, do you know who this little fella is?
No.
I lay a hand on Morfello's shoulder and I say, can you communicate for us?
Tavern doesn't communicate very well with me. This is probably the purest form of mimic flesh I've ever seen. I mean, it mostly look like, and then the arm goes out and this strange network of fungus appears, and like the chlorophyll changes colors and Morfello's arm shifts to look like large mushroom pieces. The closest that we come to looking like our natural state, but I mean, much like other plants that mimic things, we found our ancestors found a long time ago to just get what they needed. And there's some of us that are like me that are nice, and then there's other ones that are very bad and hurt people.
But what did you notice? The tendrils? What happened with the children and with Sarai? Were they? Sarai. She wasn't herself. She disappeared. She looked like
copied.
Where are the originals?
Pull out one of my
What
papers.
happened to the children? What happened to Sarai?
Agatha and David? Sarai
Where?
are all fine.
Where are they?
I have no clue. Everybody in the room now, by the way?
You didn't
Find one quickly.
Everybody in the room?
Yep.
In which room?
In
Yes.
the
In
room
tavern
beyond,
flesh
yeah,
room.
the
Yeah.
tavern flesh room.
Max is going to try to like prevent any violence from happening between Morfello and Soren. Like, he clearly doesn't know what's going on just as much as we don't. The best way we're going to figure this out is together, all right? I understand that you're
So-
upset, but we can still figure this out without being crazy to each other. We're a parliament. We can discuss.
Is everybody in the room? Yes or no?
Cannot.
Yes.
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 Door shuts
Yes.
behind you.
Karak walked in.
Knew that was coming.
And as soon as the door shuts, fleshy portions of the wall resorb the door, and the frame and the door structure disappear. The handle goes clunk, clunk, and falls back to the ground. The little mushroom creature walks over, picks it up, holds it up to Soren.
You can still understand me, right? What part do you play in this? Who are you?
Your
Well,
tavern?
this room?
And points to Maximilian.
No, I think
Your tavern! Oh, what did you do?
Why are you tavern? You're a mushroom person. I don't understand.
Vatrin, Detect Thoughts is still rolling. I think that lasts for a little bit here.
Yeah, about a minute. So
About a minute. So it's still rolling, and you get the sense of exasperation of someone trying to explain a very complex subject in simple terms.
Right. And I express
like-
that to the group.
Like, especially at the, your tavern, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still just like,
Exasperation, frustration.
it's like holding up the handle to you, Soren. And if Soren doesn't take it right away, okay. You take it and it like nods at you, kind of waddles over to a wall, and then touches the stick onto the wall, and another portal opens up into a room beyond this one that, as an aside, Maximil, you
Yeah.
ever stuck that head inside that bag of holding to see what's in there?
My head?
Yeah.
Inside of a bag of holding? Probably.
Maximil stuck her head to like look inside of her bag of holding and be like, I wonder what's in here.
Yes, she would have. She would have.
If I'm being honest, yeah, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. She would have. That's not a question.
The space beyond this little room you're in looks like the interior of a bag of holding. It is an endless pocket dimension. And standing, stretching, just towering above anything you can see and make sense of in the rest of the room as you're looking beyond this small portal that's large enough for the largest of you only, there is what appears to be a massive hulking fungal colony growing up this hundreds of foot tall spire with tendrils and the mycelial network of this creature reaching out to all the various edges of this room and touching a lot of spaces that reach off into nothingness, but also that attach back to this room itself.
What the fuck?
The little
Let's find out.
mushroom creature like waves you in, and it starts to walk into the room.
I walk in.
I'll follow.
Max takes Soren's arm. Just, do you want to come in?
Is Doran still holding Morfello?
Yep. Morfello's like looking beyond, like wide-eyed.
Does he look confused as well? Like he's never seen this before?
Morfello has the face of someone that you would expect laying eyes on a god.
Okay, so there's recognition there.
There is fear, reverence, recognition.
Okay. I'm gonna look at him as she's kind of pulling my hand down, still have the knife up with the other hand. If anything has happened to her, know that there's nothing on this world that will keep you safe from me. Turn and walk with her.
The head like twists slightly to like look in further. And Doran, as you're standing behind him, another mouth appears on the back of his head. He's really the least of my concerns right now. Are you seeing this?
I don't know what this is, but you better hope it is more forgiving than we are.
Guys get very angry.
Is
For
this the
apparently no
vibe we're
reason.
going for?
Morfello begins to walk out of your grasp as much as he needs to resist, which is really nothing. He just kind of like deforms like putty in your hands and walks through your grasp. As you make your way into the space, Soren, this large plant pod starts to descend from up high on one of the branches of this massive fungal structure.
It's like the dimensions of this room that we're in. You said it's like a giant pillar of fungus and tendrils and stuff like that. And then what's the space beyond that?
You walk into this space and it appears to be endless as you walk in. There is solid path beneath your feet. There appears to be structure in front of you. Large sized banquet hall with the end of it being fully consumed by this structure. And the flooring is enough for you to walk on. But it appears that
What do you mean- what do
flooring
you mean by
was
that?
made for you.
Oh,
Like this thing exists in this space, and the flooring was made so you would feel comfortable to walk on it.
okay.
In my head, I'm visualizing like the upside down, just a pure black space, but with this
Yeah, it's a great visualization. for it.
mushroom tendril.
Okay, that helps.
Okay.
Okay. Oh boy.
A pod comes down from over here.
It does, and transparently through the edges of it inside, you can see a shape of a vaguely humanoid person. And then you
So,
go ahead.
Tarak did not go into the other room. He does not think that after everything that happened following some sort of a mushroom is this the way to go. He was kind of hesitant to walk into the first room, but he is staying behind and just observing what's going to happen.
You can see they're not more than about 100 feet from you. They're just kind of walking out to this large fungus. And Soren, this is slightly out of your reach. But
The pod thing?
yeah, like you could really running jump and maybe touch it if you wanted to, but the dancing light is reflecting enough to see that there's the shape of a person vaguely Sarai shaped in there. And then one of the fungal tendrils kind of grows out of it. And you watch as that strange flesh appears vaguely shaped in front of you. And then very quickly shimmers and the surface changes. And it looks like Sarai. And then a split second later, it blinks and Sarai's like, that was... Did somebody set off a grenade? Where the hell are we?
As soon as Tarak hears Sarai, he's joining them.
Watcher, make an insight check.
Jeez. Second one, man.
What's that?
Hell yeah.
What's the total?
The total is 22.
As the end of your detect thoughts starts to taper out, you detect the thoughts and you are overwhelmed by the presence of this massive consciousness, and you can feel it as it reaches the tendril out and forms this strange homunculus, this fleshy fungal homunculus of Sarai. And then the skin shimmers and it looks like her, and then immediately the presence of that creature is gone from the Sarai standing in front of you, and you can't detect its thoughts.
I'm not really sure.
Oh.
Are you okay?
I don't know if this is actually Sarai. I don't know if this is just it's trying to pacify Soren, or if Sarai, the original Sarai, is still around, or what. I mean, it's very clear that it can create entities from itself, but I don't know if they're just extensions of it or not.
Just to clarify, this thing came out of the little flesh pod thing?
A tendril grew out of the flesh pod. That body is still in there.
Okay.
Max asks if she's okay.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't I be?
What's the
Don't
last
play
thing you
games with
remember?
me.
Dad said we had to go, so he opened the door, and we all went through. And then there was an explosion, and I was just getting my footing, and then Dad had like a rope attached to my foot or something and tried to pull it back, and he like tripped me up, and I must have fallen and hit my head because I blacked out, and now we're here.
Can you come out?
Sorry, I missed what Soren was saying.
Oh.
Turn around, pointing up to the pod behind this copy.
Turns and like looks behind her, and immediately taken aback by everything. She like stumbles backwards and is looking up at there. What are we looking at? At this
You tell me.
So wait, Ben, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Is she? I thought she was still in the. So she in the pod, or did she get?
There is a
Is she
body
now out
in
of
the
the pod?
pod. There is a
And a
body.
tendril
that is in
grew
the pod.
off of the pod and made her.
Yeah. So there's currently 2 Sarais.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
We just can't see the one that's in the pod because it's like a blurred out
Alright.
shape or whatever.
I want to believe you. All right.
Believe.
Yes,
What are we looking at though?
It's- you, I believe.
Oh, that like hundreds foot tall towering
Well,
Oh,
the thing next to it.
the pod thing. Maybe.
I like put the dancing lights over there.
As
Is
soon as-
Morfello in the room with us?
He's walking up to you now, and he's like standing a couple feet back from Soren because he's very obviously aware that you're unstable. And he's
If I
trying
cut
to.
that open, what happens?
I don't know. This creature did this for a reason.
Still
And then-
comprehend language is up.
This creature being who?
The small mushroom creature is now kind of like standing beyond Sarai in front of all of you and like waves, and then raises its hands, and like a little table grows up out of the floor and appears in front of you guys. And then a little fungal person appears, and Morfello recognizes the person. Goes, oh, it looks like Eomar. Hey, we knew him hundreds of years ago. Right before the whole Burroughs incident. Nice guy. He used to shop here all the time. He just kind of stopped coming back. And you watch as this sort of puppetry of fungal creatures happens in front of you. A little copy of Morfello appears, and then the large copy of a tavern walks happily into frame behind it on this table that's acting like a fungal theater surface.
Oh.
And you watch as Eomar walks into the tavern. There's kind of, it mimes like happy dancing of the tavern. You can see the little individuals dancing inside. And then Eomar leaves and comes back. And the second time they come back, they look distraught. And then you see a familiar sight of the tavern opening up. A tongue flops out with a doorknob. And Eomar takes it and dances happily inside. And there's another little happy dance at the tavern, and Morfello and Eomar. And then Eomar leaves. And then it shows and shifts quickly to a diorama style view of the interior of the tavern. And Eomar comes in through the doorway, speaks with Morfello. The tavern, the rafters look like they're smiling down at the two of them as they're talking, and then Eomar leaves to the door. And you see this happen 2 or 3 times, and it seems that some time has passed between the instances of this. And then it pans back to the tavern, and this kind of shell appears. A little bubble appears over the display. And then you see a beam of light on the far side of the display. And then the bubble shatters. Doesn't take an insight check to recognize that this is the destruction of the Aether Mirror and the aftermath of what happened to the whatever is around the world. There's cracks in the sky, and this appears, and Tavern's very scared. And then it pans back to the diorama, and Aomar comes in. Tavern and Morfello are very happy to see Aomar, and then Morfello goes outside to talk to somebody else and leaves, and Aomar spends some time inside of Tavern recuperating after whatever that event was. Then finally Aomar mimes that they have to leave, and they grab the door, open the handle after having spent quite a long time there, leaving the tavern and coming back, and then stepping through the passage. They walk through, and as the door closes, a flash of light and a shattering, almost like glass, and the door flies open and pieces of Aomar are scattered across the floor. And Tavern gets very scared and scoops the pieces up. And Morfello eventually finds the handle and hands it off to somebody else, who walks out with it from Tavern. And you see as this random person, which Morfello goes, "Oh, that's Agatha we gave her the tavern doorknob after Aomar left it here. Thought he just didn't need it anymore." And she had come in from the outside. I had met her, and I just picked up the handle that day and let her use it. And she walks out, and as she gets ready to leave, there's a flash again. And in the distance, you see a part of Tavern envelop her and create a simulacrum of her. And it absorbs this copy of her down below where Tavern's staying. And almost as if on command, the big pod comes down next to Sarai and opens up. And you can see floating in a pool of what looks like the nothingness of this pocket dimension, with a fungal mask over her face, these vines attached, as Sarai inside of this pod.
I think Tavern views the outside world as a very dangerous place, and he's trying to protect everyone, or those that he feels or it feels are his guests. He makes the copies so that if something bad happens, it happens to the copy, not to the real one.
They're checking myself for thread. Feet, coat, armpits, head, all of it.
I'm grabbing at an invisible mask.
Morfello, kind of staring at it, goes, I think there's a key difference here that we're missing. Sarai walked into Tavern and then went through the door, whereas you utilized the spell. Aomir, when he was here last, he came through and the spell expired, and he spent time in and around Tavern. Maybe it's you have to complete the cycle within a day to be safe, and if you enter the tavern and then leave through the door, or enter through the door and the door gets closed behind you and the cycle completes. And as Morfello finishes that sentence, 3 more pods come down and open up, and you can see Agatha, Devit, and Isabel Rosewood, Loxodon, all masked up and contained inside these pocket dimensions.
So what happened?
The Sundering did strange things to magic. I mean, after
Sundering?
that, the explosion of the Aether Mirror, that shattering of the sky. It wasn't long after this that Tavern disappeared, and then you guys found it decades later in Kosoba, of all places. Something might have gone wrong. But people don't teleport much anymore.
The ones in the pods are the originals and then Tavern somehow made these copies of them.
I don't know.
But what are they doing in the pods? Why'd he put them here?
We see Sarai's like leaning over and like pokes her face. It's like, ooh. Pokes herself in the face.
You feel that?
I mean, it's me, but I'm me.
No, you're not.
I don't know. Maybe what constitutes what is me? Is it my soul or my collection of thoughts? I mean, we've studied fungus before, and we know that it's powerful, and maybe it's carrying my thoughts from this place of safety to this copy.
But you can still feel what's going on to the you right there. So the you right there is alive.
Yeah.
Hold
Feel
on.
it.
Close your eyes. Someone touch her, like one of her fingers, and see if we can match it up to make sure that it's not just like a brain game. Can we do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Should I go stand behind Doran or something?
Yeah. Just so you
just
don't see
Put
yourself.
my hand over her eyes.
She walks behind Doran, you put your hands over her eyes, and she just kind of like puts her hands up. All right, poke something.
I poke her right elbow.
She just goes, yep. Right elbow, right there.
She can feel it.
So these simulacrum have to be connected to a living host.
So she's alive, which is
Or-
great.
Or this is a part of the tavern, and I don't know, maybe I'm controlling it.
You said spell. What spell? We don't cast a spell when we enter in. We just put a door knob onto a flat surface and it opens a door.
More fellows.
What spell are you talking about?
But the enchantment attached to that knob, and I mean, clearly I knew Tavern was wise and knew many things, and I didn't realize the Tavern may have been this old.
Is all of this tavern?
I don't.
On that 22 insight, am I completely convinced that this is a benign thing?
You're pretty sure that this is a benign entity.
Okay.
Having spent
The
little
same
time,
sort of benign that I would associate with Brundoinum and
Yeah.
my patron.
I mean, having spent some time looking at this, you can see that this colony of fungus, and it's many. I say colony of fungus because it's not a single type. There are many types of different fungal things growing off of this, and there's these long, stretchy vine pieces that are growing out in strands.
And Tarak see anything going between Sarai and the pod and the copy of Sarai?
Now that it's been
Anything physical?
drawn to your attention, you can see like you all watched this little tendril. You were a bit farther away, Tarak, but having come back in and like knowing what people are doing, you can see the little strand. It's very thin, like a hair's length or hair's width.
Max will go up to Soren. She's okay. She's being protected. Can we go into this with an outlook of trust that there's some miscommunication here and that we'll figure it out by the end of today? Can we do that?
I'll grant
You mean Sarai or Soren? Oh,
I go up to Soren and talk about
Soren.
Sarai.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I will grant you two things. I will approach this neutral and curious.
Okay.
But trust works both ways. If this is something that has been happening since the beginning, we should have been fucking informed of it.
I agree.
The little toadstool looks good. You
They
get
clearly didn't trust us enough to know about all of this.
Or
Why?
Tavern. When I did the mind thing with Tavern,
Yes, you said it was scared.
he had the mindset of a child, of a puppy. So although he is old and wise, he may not be wise in the way of communication and understanding how to talk to people, like kids are. You know how kids are. They don't know what the important things to tell you are. And so maybe A, he thought we knew, or B, he didn't know to tell us. There's probably a good explanation for why we didn't know about this, or possibly we did know. We did know we were supposed to leave and come back within a day, and then we did things oppositely anyways.
I didn't know that, did you?
I thought we knew. That's why we only stayed for a day. We would leave in the morning. We would leave after 24 hours.
You did
or
know
however
that
long.
you did know that you had to go back through the door before 24 hours. A big question was what happens if we stay?
Yeah.
That was part of your
before
identify.
24 hours.
Your identify
And-
told you that you needed to be back through within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So we
So
let
this is what
people
happens.
we let people go through and stay there, and then we brought someone who had gone through Tavern the normal way back through, and then this happened. So this is the weird thing. This is the what if. So Tavern did actually tell us. He just didn't tell us what would happen.
I'm gonna look to the fungal guy.
He's writing something in the ground with his stick.
Can I read what it is?
You have no strange
Okay.
scratch marks.
I'll just Tavern. Does he stop? Call out to him.
He's still like scratching, but he kind of like looks over his shoulder at you. It takes him a moment to realize that it actually needs to acknowledge you. And it's like, oh yeah, what? Looks back at you.
Just nudge Max. It's writing.
How do
Neutrality is a
we-
great place to start, though.
How do we get Sarai out of there? Take her back with us, or bring her back as herself?
Keep scratching.
Is
You said the
she
other
safe
pods-
for now?
I'm going to reach down and touch the surface of whatever it's writing on so I can understand what it's writing.
Much like the age of trees is measured through growth over eons, the script of ancient living fungus is grown over long stretches. And what takes him about 5 minutes to write, as it completes the last glyphs, you comprehend that it says 2 words.
Oh, God.
Soren, trust.
Wait, what? What was the middle word?
Soren, trust. And then it walks back to the stage that it had made before, and it points out to like the sides of the large fungal canopy, and these big sheets begin to unfurl, and you can see thousands of feet in the distance, stretching for miles and miles, is long history of this creature. It would take you lifetimes to read. Simply
Are there-
the volume of this script would be akin to like a book like the Bible, and how big it is when you translate it to Braille. You know, it takes carts of
Huge.
books to write pages, it feels like. And that's what you see unfurling in the distance, is a massive, centuries, eons long history.
Are there other pods with other people that are still kind of like up in the upper area that Sarai got lowered from?
You count 3.
Okay. And those were the other 3 that we brought.
3 beyond those 3. You
Oh,
just count a total of 7 pods.
who are they?
Kind of like looks up at them for a moment, and like motions at the history, points back at the table, and is like looking at you like without the insights. Like, do you want to talk to them, or do you want to like look at the history first? Kind of figure out what you want to do.
Can I make out shapes of the people other than the 3 that we brought? Like, what kind of...
They're pretty far up.
Do they
but-
look alive?
Yeah, they look alive. They don't appear to
Well-
be moving, but none of the other ones in the pods appear to be moving.
Are they dreaming?
Devit may not be alive, but that's nothing new. Sorry. Too soon?
Carry on. Show us.
Devit wasn't doing anything
Play.
bad. So you see images start to appear that are very difficult to comprehend. Pre-game meeting, this is what I'm talking about, trying to put this into words. At first, there's a large swath of darkness, and then this glowing ephemeral shape of a humanoid appears and like touches the table, and a small toadstool grows. And then the little toadstool sprouts legs and is standing inches to this thing's like 1.5 feet tall. And the 2 of them go walking, and the plane shifts beneath them, and they're appear to be conversing and discussing things and stopping occasionally, and the large glowing blob looking creature, looks mostly fuzzy, is touching things, and things are sprouting up, and then the fungal creature puts some hands on things and they begin to grow fungus on top of the things. And it appears that the 2 of them are working in harmony, and they appear to be sowing the seeds of life onto this. And then eventually other large creatures appear and start to reach down and touch and create some stuff. And at the point where the other ones show up, the small fungus man and big fuzzy person kind of get back up into some trees, and they just sit there and watch for a long time. And you see little humanoids start to crop up, like people reach down and they pull what looks like elves up out of the ground, and other people reach over and pull what looks like box-eared and tailed humanoids up out of the ground. Some reach out to the trees and create people from the trees themselves. And all these different creatures start to populate this space. And all the while, the toadstool is getting bigger and bigger, and eventually it overtakes that entire tree. And you watch as this big fuzzy creature just comforts this one and talks with them, and they're looking out over everything. And the fungal network continues to grow down into the trees and prop up like little bits of puffs of fungal spores, spread pieces of it to all these different places. But the colony that lives on that original fungal person appears to be alive. Very small little things, and they take different shapes, and they start to form into other creatures. It appears at first very primordial and very, very basic in nature and instinctual. Venus flytraps, different types of mimicry and camouflage to trap creatures to consume them for material gain, and to create more and more offspring by processing different biomaterial into different things. And eventually it kind of zooms in. It comes down from the scope of these 2 large entities observing the world into a very small area in a forest. And you see what can most aptly be defined as a very old, ancient Amathaean child. This like first tribal elf moving through the forest, and eventually falls into one of these trap creatures and gets consumed. And another one witnesses this. It's very traumatic, and it pans back out, and the 2 larger creatures are very sad. There's a brief conversation between them. And then...
Question.
Yeah.
Just quick interruption. The conversations that we've been watching them have, it's not like we're listening to words. It's more just like...
Yeah, it's like watching 2 Sims talk.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured. Just wanted to make sure.
They're mimicking talking, but you're not getting any noise.
Okay.
As you witness this happening, you realize that some of the places that these little puffs were like moving around to were all over the world. And you recognize little pockets of things. You're like, I think that might be this place. It really throws you off when you all think that you're looking for a moment at Kasoba. And eventually, after this initial tragedy, it zooms back down to this level, this very close level. And the fungal creatures stop being hostile and angry and working on an instinctual level, but instead they form into copies of the Amalphaean children. And they mimic them, and they appear to be trying to show gestures of peace and forming a little barricade of Amalphaean children. And they're trying to stand at the edge of this territory and show that they show peace. There's a lot of just calm energy radiating from this image. And you see in the distance now hordes of Amalphaean warriors.
Warriors?
Fear in these warriors' eyes, and their priests are moving among them, and you can see them condemning in the distance and yelling, and their eyes flash red to show this anger. And the Amalphaea attack. And back at the top of this large mountain, looking down over the two of them, this divine being that was guiding this large mushroom creature that's now the size of ancient trees and mountains, massively tall creature, fades out of existence. And then the creature starts to bicker almost. You see parts of this whole, that this entire network of living thought and energy starts to have an internal strife and struggle that begins to split. And a portion of it becomes immediately recognizable to you. As you see a tiny version of this massive fungal creature hovering in the empty space beyond this thousands foot tall fungal colony that is scarred and broken down one side. You can see where it broke off, and angry creatures came to attack the Amalphaea, and you see this battle take place, and the two sides are this side in front of you is trying to stem the tide and pull its brethren back, but eventually some of the Amalphaean priests and druids slip through, and a massive chain of explosives and fireballs and magic erupts at the center of this creature in an attempt to destroy it. And it sunders off into two pieces. And as you watch this little play, you see the side that was filled with malice and anger and hatred spill to the ground, and thousands of mimics spill out in the shape of chests and coins and little things to entice people to touch them. And this benign, large piece that's left, filled with fear and regret and desire to do good, envelops itself in magic and disappears from this space. And then the scene shuts down, and the little mushroom kind of like points behind itself, and it resorbs into the colony.
I only have one question. This started because of a simple animalistic desire for food and sustenance. Can't fault something for that, but that does raise a question. If you are benevolent, what are you getting out of this?
It doesn't answer, but you can hear now the sounds of weeping behind you. And you turn, and Morphello's face is streaked with tears.
Like at the revelation of the story?
Yeah. This comes before all of us, Soren. It's not something simple as getting out of this. Was here before everything. This sowed
Sorry, I
the
understand.
first seeds of life here. And it's the few of us that are still not destroyed by our brethren causing a terrible name for us. Us few decent mimics that are left have come from pieces of this. We're trying to live, and unfortunately when you split something's whole of knowledge down the center, parts are lost. I think it's trying its best, but it is part of the whole. And it probably didn't mean to hurt you. Nor does it know how to fix the hurt that it's already done. That's where we're going to take a quick break, because we have an hour and a half left, and I want to give everybody a chance to breathe.
God, it's already
absorb this. So,
Wow.
we'll be right back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll see you guys after the break here. We'll be right back. do it. Welcome back, everybody. We're back. So yeah, we left off with some interesting revelations of who people might be, and Morphello just being blown away that it's literally standing in front of its creator. Morphello has this little explanation there for a bit, and then just kind of gets lost in reverence and is really trying to comprehend what's going on. Oh, and Mom brought you dinner too? That's very nice. My mom had made chicken pot pies from scratch in like little chicken pot pie personal tins. And so I was out there just like, nom, 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 nom. So, Morphello's a little bit confused and lost in irreverent, but, or not irreverent, but lost in reverence to this massive fungal god. And the pod version of Sarai, kind of looking back at her pod and considering everything. Well, if I... Okay. You guys have the handle. You know this better than I do, but like if I came into the tavern and then left by way of your spell, and this creature trapped me because it was concerned for my safety, but now I'm back in the tavern, do you think I'm technically safe to come out?
Maybe. I mean, are we in tavern?
I think this, like, and she looks back at the other room, I think that's the weird part that Morphello said that never been to, and this
Judging by the story, I would intuit no, she's never safe to leave, right?
Well,
judging from the
Once you're
story,
there for longer than 24 hours,
No,
if you
she
leave,
just
you
needs to
fucking
leave the-
explode.
she just needs to leave the normal way.
That's what we did.
Yeah, and she got like...
she
No.
went
She got-
through
No,
your spell, the gate
She has to
spell.
leave out of the door. We need
Yeah.
to get Tavern back in Basat.
And then she can leave.
No,
Because she
Oh.
went to the tavern in Busat.
Right.
Then went
We
to
took her through the spell.
from what you
Yeah.
intuited is that when you open the door and some people walk through that door initially, you create a circle that needs to be completed with those same people. If anybody
Okay.
leaves or comes into that circle of people that then leaves through the door or does not leave through the door, for example, came with you and does not leave, something weird happens that this creature tries to save them from. It has happened once
Okay.
before. Because
So-
throwback, you asked this creature what happens, and it very
It was
unconvincingly was like, "Moo."
Yeah.
And that's kind of where you guys left it.
yeah.
So,
I didn't want to talk about it. So all right.
so Tavern has been around for quite some time. It seems like.
Seems like Tavern is a manifestation of this creature that now
Right.
exists in a pocket dimension attached to the tavern.
Yeah.
He's kind of an avatar.
But yeah, so and in all that time there have only been 7 instances of this happening. That seems a bit odd.
It only started happening 140 years ago when Buraz shattered the sky with the destruction of the Aethermere. Actually, only about 100 years ago.
Everything is broken.
So it happened because of the Aethermere
Yeah.
going boom.
Okay, so
then
this
more
was not happening
Aether-
before.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, that
7
one.
is still a
Gotcha.
very low number for 100 and something
Yeah,
years, but
but
It
a
was
lot better than
also-
eons.
It was also trapped in Kosoba for a long
for
time.
X amount of time. Yeah.
It had been infected with something else for X amount of time that it was not fighting back against because it was a benign creature.
So if we... Can we even wake up the other people to see how they need to close their loops? Because we know that the 3 we brought in with the spell. So they need to leave through the spell.
Right.
Well, we may not have to wake them up if they if there can be a copy of them created, just like with Sarai, with whom we can communicate.
Well, I mean, no, we don't want to leave them. We don't want to leave innocent civilians trapped. We want to free them, right?
No, we don't. Yeah. But I'm saying
I don't want my
we
daughter
are
to be a bad
communicating with. Right, but I mean, there is Sarai. The real Sarai
Is
in the pod, but we are communicating with another Sarai. So I'm saying, even if we can't wake them up, maybe we can make the creature create a copy of them, come out with whom we can communicate, and find out how we can get them back. What had happened to them.
Sarai is very intently studying her pod and is still considering vocally the ramifications of trying to do this and understanding that she may die as a result of this.
Just walk over and kneel down. Get like eye level. You need to understand that we are going to try and fix this, but this is complicated. This is beyond what we are capable of fixing.
Well,
These things help.
does it need to be fixed? Well, I'm fine. I mean, Agatha and David.
We don't know that. I'm sorry, but we just don't know that.
Been with us for weeks.
But you're still in there. We don't know what that is, and this thing is not capable of explaining itself fully to us. Do you think that this is in any way normal?
No,
Good.
not normal. But I'm still safe.
We don't know that. You're assuming you're safe because you think and you feel as you are in this new form. But we don't know entirely what is happening to you right there in that pod. Or them up there.
I agree with your father, Sarai. Do you see any benefit of us waiting instead of trying to fix the situation now?
You could wait until you have more information, or I could take a risk and ask Tavern to let me out now.
Where are we?
Yes, where
Aaron?
are we? Exactly.
Little mushroom creature appears back up again, and the little table shows back up. And then Tavern appears, and then there's like a strange blob offshoot of Tavern in a small corner that resembles the room you walked into initially. And then there's an opening that just leads to open space.
Not within you, Tavern, within the world. Where, location-wise, are we now? Still on the island?
Nods yes to.
How long will it take for you to get back to Busat from here?
Thinks for a moment. And then you see the sun kind of appear, like a glowing little orb, and then it whips around. The veil crosses it. So it's counting day cycles.
Mm-hmm.
It counts 8 days.
That's forever in D&D.
We only play it one day, like every 6 months.
That's right. One day is 30 sessions, man. Come on.
That could be years. Carter's never getting home.
I have a strange idea,
All right.
but it'll
Scenario.
have to
Please don't
wait.
tell me it has anything to do with bombs.
It could, but no. And Tavern needs to get back to Busat to be where we are anyways. But I propose that if Tavern comes back to Busat, it'll take roughly 8 days. When he gets here, I'll do it.
You'll do what?
He can take me and then I'll leave. We'll do the spell exactly how we did it, and I'll walk out the door.
Why?
The mushroom
It doesn't
guy,
have to.
mushroom guy at the mention of coming back to Busat shakes its head no.
No, you're coming back to Busat.
And then it points back down to the table. And you see an image of Busat, and then the little tavern kind of goes doo, 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 and it's walking out of Busat. And it looks like kind of an overhead view. And then It zooms in as it gets about halfway up the jungle, past the city of Midatona and Fort Rawing. And you see Tavern. It kind of zooms down, and Tavern's like walking through the jungle on these strange tree-like legs. Then it starts to run. And you see it pan back a little bit. And you see this tall, old metallic figure on the back of a horse, leading an army of zombie-looking creatures. And as they give chase, you see the one on the horse kind of stop. And then I swear it looks like Diggin climbed down out of a tree and point to the tavern, and these horde of undead keep running at it. And it zooms kind of back out and shows you this overhead view of Katala, and this kind of brown mass fills up the center of Katala and like goes end to end, and it's growing both directions. And it is inching towards Busat right now as well.
Joy.
So we're just fucking stuck in here then. That's what I'm understanding.
Well, what if you came by sea?
Hold on. We don't have to meet you in Busat to test this. You can come close to Busat, and we'll meet you somewhere.
But
Loop around
Again,
so south.
what are we doing? Why are you like staying?
I'm not staying today. We obviously
No,
there's
but
something
in the future. Like why?
'Cause
to get Sarai out.
But
I'd
can't
rather
she
be
just
the one-
walk out herself.
What if she dies?
she needs to walk out the front door.
No. What if she leaves and dies? You're willing to take that risk? Let me do
So
that.
I don't understand how that's on the table here.
I see
You're
what he's saying.
you're
He's-
testing with your daughter. Test with me
I'm
instead.
not. We've understood that if she leaves through the front door,
Ask Tavern. Does he understand that?
Tavern is very vocal.
Exactly, but he'll
If
confirm
she
or
leaves
deny.
through the front door as she entered, will she be safe? Yes or no?
Nods yes.
Right.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Sarai says, that's good enough for me. And you watch as Sarai
Does
starts
it
to
have
reach into
to
her pod.
happen?
No.
You guys are all talking, and Sarai's now reaching into her
Yeah.
pod, and she's like, "That's good enough," and starts to pull herself out.
Wait. Wait. Does it have to happen in Busat, or can it happen anywhere? Do we even need to go to Busat?
We do.
She
Yes.
She
No,
could
I
just
know.
walk
I'm
out the
saying
front door
about
and
Yeah.
meet us.
Sarai.
Well, no, but I also don't want to just leave her, wherever the fuck Tavern happens to be.
Well, the
But,
Utampo
again-
people are pretty nice, and she gets along with them, so we could come back
I'm
and
sure, but she's also a student and has family in that city, and she's
we can
Also-
get her.
If I may, real quick.
yes.
We just found out that the undead legions of Imana are headed towards Busat.
Yes.
Your daughter is currently in a tavern hundreds of miles away from that. Wouldn't you rather her be there than in the hotspot of all of this happening? Yes, she'd be with you.
Morfello kind of chimes in from the back now as well, as he's like getting a picture himself cleared up. He goes, yes, and continuing north was our trajectory. We could keep running until that's all clear.
Are they,
She could be
for some
safe.
reason, not spreading everywhere? Are they only going to Passat?
They seemed to chase us for a while. We don't know if they're still going to Busat, but they haven't been hot on our tail or anything. They seem to want us out of whatever territory they owned.
The jungles and
Does anybody
such,
have
fine.
a hand on Sarai? She's violently
Yes,
wanting to get herself out.
I'm like standing in front of her, between her and the pod.
She's trying to get to the pod. She's like, Dad, just let me out.
Stop it. We are talking. Just wait 5 fucking minutes.
Whoa.
All right. If Busat is going to be under siege by an army of undead, fine. Keep her here. But that still doesn't help us because we do still need to get back there. We have unfinished business.
Wait a second. Wait. Still, we're acting like she needs to get out, and Busat, she could get out
No, I
here.
understand that.
Yes,
she
no,
could,
we're-
she
I
could
think-
stay here.
Right.
Fine.
Real quick, time out. I think,
Yes.
Right.
I think everybody's
Okay.
clear that she doesn't have to get out in Busat. I think there's some
Yeah.
confusion
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're saying here, you mean actually on the island, not in
In
Tavern.
the tavern, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs to walk out physically through Tavern, Soren
Yeah.
wants you guys to be able to get back, which the little toadstool guy kind of points back towards the way you guys came, and you can see beyond the small room, the little doorway is reformed back at the opposite end, and it's like creaked open just a little bit. You can see the light coming from your shop beyond it.
So we can leave whenever we want.
That's our exit. Okay, good.
And can she and she could actually go to the island, right? She could leave and just stay on the island because that's where Tavern is right now.
Yes.
Right.
She would stay with me, and I think it's very insulting that we literally are calling my god Tavern now. I would just like to put that
What
out
do we
there.
call it? We don't. It doesn't speak.
I don't.
It,
know.
It's your
Tavern
god.
Also,
Fungus god? That doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
Tavern.
I look at the
enjoys-
mushroom and I'm just gonna say, Tavern, are you comfortable being called Tavern? Or would you
Tavern
prefer
seems to
another
like
name?
it.
The all
It's
growing.
Tavern.
Tavern.
The all growing.
The all growing. Tavern, the all growing.
Yes.
So we can take Sarai out, so she can we can be sure that she's out of the pod, she's safe on the island, and then we do whatever we need to do. Would you be okay with that, Soren?
I'll just take one last look between the mushroom and Borfello, and you are certain that if she leaves through the front door of Tavern and is able to come and go through there as she pleases, in her physical form, not as this homunculus creature, she will be safe.
She hasn't had a problem leaving before. She's been with us for weeks.
And we saw her leave.
Why are
yesterday
the
night.
why are the
Sora-
other three in a pod?
Sarai's physical body has never left the tavern.
Really? I thought
The
that she
door
left.
has not closed and sealed her outside of the tavern.
Ah.
There's another little the mushroom is just like and like feels like he has to explain it again and walks back over to the little table and he shows you guys standing in there arguing, and then you see like a little almost chibi looking tavern. It's just like panic, and it like freaks out for a moment, and then very slowly you watch Jaeger drop a grenade, and there's like there's a mushroom variant of like of flashbang, and it's like a little poof of spores that kind of goes, and then as that's happening you see a tiny mycelial growth and then a big fungus pod and grab her, and then another one form right behind her. This happened as the flashbang went off as you guys were closing the door.
Right.
Does it sense that something was going wrong?
No, I was talking about like yesterday night when we were all partying.
She was
Out
out there.
That was still
Island.
leaving through the front door, though.
She was drunk out there having a good time. She's never left the tavern by way of the door that you guys
That's
use.
yes, that's what I was saying.
The magic
I'm
door
sorry,
that we
there was some
created,
sort
right?
of
Not the front door.
miscommunication. She
Right,
left through
yeah.
the regular front door.
I can't stop
That's
her
what
from
I was
walking out the
saying.
damn front door sometimes. She sees something exciting and she chases it.
That's
Exactly. That was my point. She's left through the front door before and she's been fine.
You should have
Alright.
seen the panic of the ship trying to turn into a submarine when she went after a shining gold fish.
I'll just stare at her.
She like looks back and she's like, she had her hands going for the pot and she's like, can you blame me? It was rare and
Yes.
pretty.
All right, don't pull yourself out of the thing. Can you let her out? Is that something that you can do, or do we have to fucking carve her out of you? That feels wrong.
You watch as the homunculus Sarai goes limp and falls and flat, kind of reforges into the mushroom floor, and the pod
That's
opens up and stands her up straight, and then right off the top of her head, and the little vine pieces kind of pop off, and Sarai blinks. That was unique. Okay.
You remember everything?
Yep. You touched my right elbow. There was I was just, it was like I got hit with the flashbang again. It was very weird.
No, the conversation we were just having.
Yes, you know, to please let me out, and you made fun of me, or you gave me the look for going after the fish, but again, I tell you, it was rare, it was gold, it was beautiful.
I'll just pull her close, just like the tightest hug.
Jaeger, there is no semblance of her connection physically to Tavern or the fungal strands on her at all.
Okay. All right. I have
The
some answers. What about
Morph-
them?
That's Morphello's second concern as he kind of looks to them. And that's the real problem, is you brought them through the door and left them here, so they are contained in a pocket dimension, from what I understand. And just going off of what we all just saw, I think if we open them here, there's a problem. But if we push them out through the door with the pocket dimension and then open it once the door is closed, maybe?
Wait,
and
why?
They're doomed. Got it.
We just need to get them out of the door.
I don't understand why.
I don't feel like
now.
I don't feel like testing that one out.
Tavern goes back to,
Myself.
and like the diorama pops up again and
Oh God.
shows the three of them coming in, and
Yeah,
very
they just need to go
very
through-
slowly as you guys were leaving and closing the door. As you guys closed the door behind you, little pods came up and grabbed them and trapped them in a pocket dimension to pull them out of the space-time of the material plane, so they didn't technically exist there when the spell ended, which is what caused
So-
the problem last time.
We need to bring them back through the handle door.
We need to bring them back, and then if we want them to get back in the tavern, we'd have to make sure that they go in through the front door regularly. Now, can
Not handle.
Oh, we
Sarai
can't do that.
pipes up, or and hear me out. They don't know. The boys go out and play with me in the jungle and like chase butterflies and things, and they have no idea. They can't see the little tendril. They have no clue what's going on. Just
Not overly fond of keeping something like that from someone, but the fact is that we do not have a way of solving their specific configuration of this problem.
I
Yeah.
think
And
right
it's-
now ignorance is
History for it,
bliss.
I think.
And
thought-
now that I know,
Yes.
and I'm a student of magic, you could leave me with the tavern and I could sit here and try to decipher all those things. You have someone on the inside now working full time to explore the mysteries of fungal travel magic.
You are
so, and as far as much as I agree with you that I don't like this, I think we've got bigger problems right now, and it seems like they're safe for the moment.
Bigger.
And
You hear knocking
But no.
beyond
no.
the door right behind you.
Fuck, it's those people from the college.
Jaeger can pick up on it, as well as anybody else who has a 20 or better perception check.
Oh, yeah,
by
all of
default,
us.
which is
Totally.
just Jaeger.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaeger, you hear the faint of someone knocking on Soren's arcanery.
Soren,
What?
would you like me to deal with the people outside of your arcanery, or
Oh, fuck me, they're back.
I can handle that one if you're
No,
okay
no,
here.
Don't shoot anybody.
I won't shoot them, but I can handle it if you
Just
want
look
to.
over with that kind of smirk of like, I'm kidding.
If you want me to shoot them, I can. But
No.
I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse. What about the three random strangers?
dude,
Fuck. Yeah,
Done.
wait. Who are those people? Can you make them? We'd like to have a quick word before we leave, I suppose.
With
I would.
with the three. Are you guys
The
sorry?
other
This
three.
is DM, but you guys are talking about the other random
The
three.
three that are
Yeah,
not the
randoms.
ones we brought. The
Yeah.
unknowns.
Cool. Hold on 1 second. Then I gotta go pull up World.
Put them there.
Info.
You put them there. Don't make that face. You
Yeah.
don't make-
Yeah. You knew
Are
what
they
you were doing.
dreaming?
You tempted us.
Okay. So the three pods come down and the tops kind of pop open so you can see inside of them. The first one is the lady. I think I said her name was Agatha.
Agatha, yeah.
This is the lady that inherited that handle after Amar died. So she's still out there and kicking. She's an elven woman, appears to be in decent health. She's a little older now, but yeah, she seems fine.
Ages. Okay, that's a good piece of information.
She doesn't appear ageless. She appears to. She appears to have aged.
Yeah.
The second one is. Second one is a little bit younger. Not exactly sure who this is. You've never seen this one before, and Morfellow kind of like peeks in, like, I don't know. I have no idea about that one. But it's a creature the likes of which none of you guys have seen before.
Like,
I'm like having to pull something up. So you are looking at a humanoid that appears to have talon-like bird feet and these massive black feathered wings that erupt off of their shoulders. None of you have ever seen anything like this in Cyorion. And Morfellow kind of
I'll pick this one up.
That's
Yeah.
It remind us of anything we may have read about Eterna.
not off the top of your head. You have no idea.
Is it in construction, like body mechanics similar
Looks like
to the Akuros, but like bird instead of wyvern?
No. Exactly what this is a Strix.
Oh.
Yeah, which Morfellow goes, oh, haven't picked up a Strix somewhere. Probably in Kosova.
So,
Probably some traveler. This
Tavon, I am confused. Why is it that you did not create any copies of these beings?
Sarai kind of pipes up. Maybe they didn't come in through a door, but tried to leave through the door. Maybe that's why they don't exist in the tavern. Maybe they're out in the world living their lives, and they just have a handle in their pocket that they don't know. Or attached somehow. I mean, you see this thing. This fungus network travels the world. It's able to open doors across continents. This is tapping into the magical and fungal reaches of the entire world. So I would assume that this thing comes from somewhere. Morfellow's like, yeah. I've heard of them traveling to Kosova. They may have their roots in Eterna, but I've never met a Strix personally. This is the first
called a
one.
Strix?
A Strix, yes. I've read about them and heard tales about them from travelers, but very rare. Only one person has ever spoken to me about a Strix.
Who?
The third pod opens up. Oh, her. She's talked to me about a Strix. I'm gonna ask something out of character, just to see if you guys have you guys been to the Serene Sword Outfitter?
That sounds weirdly familiar.
It exists on the World Anvil page. You're
That's probably
looking
why.
at
I don't think we've been there.
You're looking at a woman in a floral dress. Looks like she has a bonnet on. Very strange. Looks like she's a human in her young 30s. And she appears to be very happy and content sitting in her little pod. Interesting woman. That is a lady by the name of Arlene Crimsby. Runs a shop called the Serene Sword Outfitter. don't make her mad. I would recommend we do not bring her back to talk to her. I am sure she is here because she chose
she's in a
to be.
pod. So
I'm
probably
sure
gonna be pissed if we wake her
she's
up.
here because she chose to be. She's probably out running her shop, doing things like she does, and traveling between dimensional portals. She is one of the only creatures on Cyorion that knows how to open portals like Tavern does and travel between the world.
Wake her up right the fuck now.
Where is she?
Would not recommend it if we...
Where's
Wait.
the Serene Sword Outfitters?
It exists outside of... It exists like this place, outside of time and space.
What? It's a terrible way to run a business.
It's actually very unique. If you go and you recall now, Soren, thinking about it, there is a shop that you've never stopped at and been to called the Serene Sword Outfitter in Busad. It is a door that says by appointment only, and you fill out a little note and you leave it at the door.
Y'all.
She runs this shop, and it's quite unique the way she does it. I've always been jealous, and I thought I was very, very unique with Tavern here being this close to the way Ardelaine runs her business. But
See, you call it tavern too.
well, you just said that we could call him Tavern. You just agreed to that, and
Y'all growing.
the strange like yellow reddish eyes of the little toadstool are giving you the look that you just gave Sarai. It's like, really? She has creatures that serve her at various large cities, and you leave a note and they retrieve the note, and then when your appointment time comes, you step through the door into her shop, which exists in another place. Fascinating little shop. She has all sorts of curiosities from around the world. She loves her tea, but don't tell her I told you this. She very much looks like she's a pig wearing lipstick, if you know what I mean. She tries to decorate it up in such a fashion, but very powerful wizard. Has these wonderful items that she keeps in little wooden tea boxes, and you decide what you like, and as soon as you step out of her shop holding it in the tiny little version of it in the palm of your hand, it grows to its full size when you leave. It's very unique, very exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
And
We have
Off the
some-
top of my head,
I
would I
want
know
to
where
go
that
to
is?
there.
Yeah.
Would I know where that is?
See, people will go, yeah, we got to go shopping.
Please, shopping.
I don't have any money, but I gotta go shopping. I have no money.
you've seen the shop in Busan. It's actually over in Silk Grove.
Okay.
It's considered a high-end shop, and it's so exclusive because it's only by appointment only.
All right. Well, this is very fascinating, but
I love other players from other games just dying in chat, screaming at you not to.
Not to.
do not make angry. Yes.
Yeah.
Turtle murderer?
I'll tell you about that sometime. Anyways,
Kill his little pet, something like that. I'm guessing.
no, it was a turtle player.
Oh.
So,
Right,
yeah,
well,
I just go make an appointment. She's a lovely lady. Just go make an appointment. Probably
Cool.
don't mention the pod thing. Like as I said, I'm sure she's here for a reason.
oh, quick roundabout. We are never mentioning this to fucking anyone, right? Just want to
We'll
make
take
sure
this
we're
to our
all on that
grave.
same
This
page.
this is too big for us.
Good.
I look specifically at Batran with like super intense daggers. Right, Batran?
I mean,
Right.
what if it like comes up
No.
and like
Why
it's,
would it
It won't.
come up?
It'll
Who-
never
who
come
would-
up. It will never come
No.
up.
well, you never know. This sort of
No, I do.
information could be really helpful in figuring out a total puzzle.
No,
piece,
no.
you know?
We need to keep it secret
Right.
so we can keep
Right.
them safe.
Right. If it
Keep
does
it
come up
secret,
as a
keep it
puzzle
safe.
piece, for something like that, we keep it to ourselves, and then we have a nice little quiet discussion about it later, somewhere else behind a triple locked fucking door.
Okay.
You all hear
Wonderful.
behind you. By the gods, what the hell is this?
Who is it? I'm gonna fucking shoot him. Who is it?
You turn around
I
and
swear to God, if it's Elric, I'm gonna
Elric
stab him.
is standing in the
I'm
doorway.
gonna run over and grab him by the throat.
You said to come
By the-
back. The dwarf was outside. I told him to wait.
Go back and tell him we're not here and that it's very rude to trespass, isn't it?
Well, last time I saw you, yeah, okay.
Good.
Jaeger just like kind of jaunters off. Now I get to get a little steam release. and just walks out the door.
Just kind of look up at the big
As he's
mycelial network.
as he's like leaving out the door. I looked up that people that you were interested in. Didn't you mention it to him? Hold on. Let me stop real fast. Timeout. Oh, DM timeout for 2 weeks missing. Didn't you guys mention Jitania to him that you were interested in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
The
looked
supposedly dead woman.
I looked up that lady for you. I have information that you may want. Please just
Excellent. We'll be out in a minute.
don't leave the door unlocked next time.
It
It was
wasn't.
unlocked?
Botrin walked inside.
I never
afterwards.
leave the door unlocked.
Botrin!
Botrin went outside and came back in.
God damn it!
This whole thing is all Botrin's fault because he went to talk about crystals to me personally.
So Tavern and Morfellow, I trust that he can be trusted too, I hope.
I fucking
I mean,
hope so. For
who
his
is
sake.
really going to believe the madman's ramblings of the mushroom god inside of a traveling interdimensional tavern?
There is an entire cult of people outside of those walls right now that are divided into two factions about whether or not there should be returned people. People will believe a lot of strange things, so we'll keep an eye on him. Don't worry.
Good.
And thank you for, as horrifying and uncomfortable as this is, in a very weird roundabout way, keeping...
You're welcome. We'll keep her safe.
Give him one like solid pat on the shoulder and head out.
And Sarai
Before-
stops you
before
and gets a big
Botrin-
hug too before you leave.
Before Botrin leaves, I get the attention of the little mushroom guy, and I just
He kind of does a... Go
I'm
ahead,
like
Sarah.
petting his head.
Go ahead, Max.
For the past like few minutes, she has been like cuddling.
I
little
was wondering
guy.
what this was. I thought it was like I'm conjuring a lightning ball kind of thing.
No, she is cuddling and petting his
hugs.
head and patting and just like kind of resting, just like, I'm so glad that you were a good guy. Oh man, I'm so glad that you're benign and kind. I thank you for living up to the best expectations you could, little guy. You are so appreciated and loved.
Maximil, don't patronize the mushroom god.
I am not patronizing, I mean every word I am saying.
Hey.
You can tell there's tears. Look,
Maximilian reaches up to like take your hand
Hi.
and it walks you over like the edge of the walkable area.
And it just Sparta kicks me out.
yeah.
So you
Long
are
live the
looking
king.
out into the void, and you can see the fungal network stretches just as thousands of feet tall. It goes down, and it kind of reaches a hand out, or a little stumpy mushroom arm out, and a big conglomeration of fungus starts to stretch its way down towards you, and it reaches out and flips what looks almost like a hand over, and this about 4-inch tall version of this little toadstool guy pops up, climbs off, walks over and lands in your hand. You have a 1 hit point mushroom familiar.
He's dead. Good luck.
Why would you do this to me?
It fits in your pocket. And the smaller mushroom guy that you were just cuddling kind of reaches up and pats you on the back. And then
Spackle walks up
pushes
and
you
goes,
out. It like does a little dance with Spackle. It's like this.
"It's awesome."
Oh, I
kinda
can't
lean over to Jaeger.
protect you.
How fast do you think that thing is going to die?
It like looks at you for a second, and it goes like, wait 1 second, and then it goes, and it turns into like a little white mushroom, like a little white and red toadstool. It just looks like a dead mushroom, like it's been plucked, and then it goes, and its little arms and eyes pop back out. So it has a massive stealth and can disguise as a inanimate regular fungal mushroom.
Like immediately, right?
It's not gonna die because something hits it or kills
gonna
it.
chop
We're
it into a
accidentally
salad.
gonna chop it up and eat it.
Mushroom soup, anybody?
Guys, I'm
Someone's
making
going
a
to-
salad. Do you want
someone's
some
going to-
fresh mushroom on
Yeah,
that?
Doran's going to make dinner out of that fucking thing. We're all going to feel very bad as we digest it and it takes over us.
Oh, God. Okay, hold on.
Something so we know.
In the chat, first time chat from Phoenix with the bludgeoned toad from Mario. That's
Beautiful.
wow.
Oh no.
Chef's kiss.
Oh,
Great.
I need to come up with a little name for my little guy.
2 sessions in a row that Max has got a little gift. That's awesome.
That's really cute.
Being nice, being
Yeah.
kind.
Being kind.
We are losing
Not
track of how many
assuming
times
the
Max has
worst.
gotten gift from God.
Hey,
I
Yeah,
award adorable. Let's just be real. So, tiny little mushroom friend in hand now. The rest of you are ushered outside, and more fellow as you're getting ready to leave, Soren. Don't worry, I'm sure she'll be quite busy with studies now that will go years beyond all of us.
If anyone could.
And you look back, and the little mushrooms like starting to hand her scrolls. And Sarai is really just diving right in, incredibly excited. Not only does she get to spend her time learning amongst a living mimic, but the granddaddy of all mimics. And as you guys step through the door, anybody last minute things before you make your way back into Soren's Arcanery?
does
Now that mimic sun thing that you posted makes a lot more sense.
does Sarai know comprehend languages?
You guys
He
don't
has her
know.
stat block.
No, I like that's something that Max is gonna ask. Like, hey, do you know how to like understand languages that like?
That
You
first
don't
scroll
know?
that was handed to her, she's like opening it up, and well, I do now.
Great, cool. I was gonna give you mine, but you've got it.
Look over at Morfello. Can you do that with a lot of things? Because I have some things I would like to know.
Just
Thoughts for next time. Don't
Probably
worry
so
about it.
happened that the scroll was already in inventory. Is all that's going on here.
No.
Okay. Nothing too glamorous and exciting about the purchase and sale of goods. I'm sorry. We're going to consider this one on the house, knowing what she's been through.
Do I get one of those too?
Maybe next time.
Sounds good.
Everybody back through the door then?
Yeah.
I'm definitely leading the charge and want to hand something to Elric real quick.
Yeah, you guys all
So-
make it back through, and the door to Soren's Arcanery goes ka-ting and shuts behind as Jaeger is out the door already.
Well, is Elric still inside the...
He went back
Okay.
out and he was like tiling the door. He's like, you hear him as he gets outside. They said they'd be just a moment. I walked in on one of them in the shower.
That's a fucking.
Walk out to
Cyorion
the...
has indoor plumbing.
Yes. In a bookstore. Whatever this place is.
An
A
Arcanery.
bookstore /
Arcanery.
Magic Academy.
Yeah. There's showers.
Makes sense to have a shower where you train students in blowing things up.
Yeah, fair.
Jaeger,
I figured.
what are you handing to Elric as he's outside now talking to this dwarf?
Not a grenade.
only
not
the
a
dwarf?
grenade, Not a grenade. Not a grenade. Not a
It's
grenade. not a
Elric
grenade.
and the dwarf, and they've got like some books with them. There's what appears to be a scribe like in the vicinity, and it's got a cart, like a donkey with like some satchels and books and scrolls overflowing out of it. And they're all near each other.
Elric, can you hold on to this for me real quick? And I pass him a...
Quick out of
Bomb.
character before like all that goes down. Just trying to remember because this was almost a month ago now. Botron, did you describe exactly who those crystals came from? I have to go back through my notes. I
To
think
my
you just,
recollection,
just
I
said
don't
friend.
think he did.
described
He
the
just
crystals.
said a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a friend.
Yeah, it was like a friend had them or something like that.
Yeah.
You have a long coat on. You are
I
talking
remember
to
it was
a grand wizard who studies minerals and the effects of gems and minerals on magic. So I'm giving him a D20 perception check to spot that thing on you. And it's going to be on a 20 only. Is going to be worthwhile to spot it underneath all of your layers. So I'm going to do a public roll for you. It's going to hit a 20.
Oh no.
20 exactly. Oh, that was close.
That was close.
Don't touch that 20 face for a moment, but
Yeah.
the dwarf sees you just like, oh, hello. You hand Elric the thing. He goes, what do you need me to do with?
Insurance policy, real quick.
Okay.
And it's a bomb. Real quick, sir.
Inside check to see if he. It's a 17 inside check. He kind of looks at it for a moment and goes, oh.
Yeah, we're gonna need that back inside. But your comrade here, who are you exactly, sir? Aha.
Something guild leader of mineralogy that someone had to like pull out of my ass.
Grandmaster Flint Grip, is that who it is?
Yeah, we
Yep.
know.
That is him. Grandmaster Flint Grip.
Yeah.
It's probably in one of my other many notes. Okay. Yeah,
I need to
that's
start writing people's names down.
that is Grandmaster Flint Grip.
Yeah, Cure Grip, Flint Grip. Or Cure something, Flint Grip.
Yep. Here's something it is. So, yes, the dwarf standing with him, Flint Grip. Last one I've written down in my notes.
Mr. Flint Grip.
Yes.
You're here to do what? Sorry, I'm security, and
Oh.
there's something happening here. My associates are incredibly tied
Yeah.
up, but
Hey.
they asked Elric for this. Elric, can you take that to Soren real quick and just go back inside?
Yeah. Soren, as you saw the door shut, the door closes behind you and just kind of vanishes behind you as it
the doorknob
molds
still there?
down into the floor. It's still, you have it on your person.
Oh,
This door appeared and closed behind you. So the fungus literally falls into the floor.
Gross.
A little bit of concern
know, I
about the
have to-
mold underneath your floor,
Yeah.
possibly, but
Get inspected for mold. Damn it!
however, Elric walks back in, pale as a ghost.
Hey, don't drop that.
No, I very much won't. He has it with both hands now. He's holding one of Jaeger's bombs.
Oh fuck me! No, I'm not touching that thing. No.
Thanks, Mage Hand, then. Put it out.
Outside, the dwarf is like, yes, a very, very interesting individual by the name of some such. He had these fabulous crystals that came from the ruins of
Elware Esif. Is that right?
No, he literally forgot your name and is so obsessed with the crystals. Doesn't matter what you told him. He had these amazing crystals that literally like were growing out of raw magic, from what I could tell, and just absolutely astounded at this discovery. And we're thrilled to talk to this person again.
Awesome. Why are you did they invite you back to study these things?
Well, he wanted to know more, and he motions to the donkey that's laden with like 4 satchels of books and scrolls. I figured there's so much research on the stuff as is that maybe that he would want to read it with me so I could see the crystals again.
Shit. Wait right here a minute.
Sure.
Did not expect this. Okay. Yeah, let me check in with my associates and I'll open the door and like slam it in his face, lock it, and
Does the door
bar the
open?
door.
Does the door open in or out?
In, I believe.
You smack into the back of Elric, who's like, "Ah!" as he's holding on this bomb and has been standing frightened with fear and like almost falls over and he's holding it now. And now, Soren, it's probably about 3 inches from your face.
No, fuck! I hate these things.
Max Mage Hands grabs it.
Thank you.
Guys, come on. I'll grab it out of the mage hand's hand while I push Elric out of the way.
He's terrified, but
Why are you so afraid? I didn't light it. Lock the door and bar it really quick.
Get real close up to Jaeger. It's all for the act, my friend.
I like it. Wait, 1 second. I'll put it back in Alric's hand. Hold that. Just step over there real quick.
Wait, you said you have to light it.
Oh, yeah, here. I'll light it.
Don't move too quickly. That's what
I'll
even
light it.
confuses. If you
And then
throw it, it's
I'll take it. I'll like nip it off. Just kidding. The dwarf has a bunch of research on the crystals, and I might just take it from him if I was alone, but this might be worth us digging into, but I don't want to share anything with him.
Well, it's actually. Sorry to interject, Mr. Bomb-wielding person, man.
Careful.
Yes. Very, very. I'm sorry, sir. The crystallization of that fluid is all theoretical. This is the first, and that's why they're so obsessed with it now. Is they didn't think it was all possible.
Without looking to Alric, you've seen too much. Do we trust him?
enough.
Yeah, well, he just saw a lot. So asking again, do we trust him?
Well, what choice do we have? He's proven trustworthy before.
Just put him in a pod. And I guess.
I then
You
shift
don't get
gaze
to do
to
that.
Elric. I shift gaze. Elric, did you see what we were just in? The doorway. What? Did you see what was in there?
No.
Good
No,
answer.
not to me. But am I inferring that you did not see? Wink, wink.
I don't know what I saw, honestly.
You
Yeah,
didn't
well,
see anything.
There was a door that opened to a cave that opened to a
Nope.
I don't know what.
Nope. Already too much. There's no door. There's no cave.
No, there's not.
yep, not the signal I'm trying to give, but appreciate the candor there.
Oh, is that not what we're going for? Oh.
No. I am and am not. Make it less confusing. You tell a soul about that or what I'm about to show you. Things are going to get real messy real quick, and it starts with that bomb. Understood?
I look over at Elric and I just huff and little bits of flame come out of my nose.
You're all very intimidating, yes.
Yeah, well, here. And I'll just show him the crystal in my arm.
Oh, interesting to me. Very strange. We'll probably make the dwarf faint. Don't do that.
Nope. Yeah, we're not going to
Making
do
sure
that.
that the
but
curtains are drawn and that he cannot see in.
Yeah, the dwarf will probably pass out. Don't do that.
yeah, well, we're not going to say anything about that, but you and I are going to have a conversation later. But I would hope that we are in trusted party.
I mean, of course, my interest is academic, and really, I think that you would be interested in some of the things that I found. There's some notes on Jatania that were interesting, to say the least, and strangely tied very closely with what that dwarf was looking into. Sorry, Guildmaster was looking into. What Guildmaster Flint Grip was looking into.
Trust me, I am intrigued. That's why we're having this conversation. But I need to know that any information about what just happened and what's on my person does not get to this dwarf.
Absolutely.
And I look to everyone, including Bontran. That goes for everybody.
I was going to offer to distract Guildmaster Flint Grip so you can get a hold of all that stuff on the donkey, but
Well, we don't need to steal it. I'm not in that business, but if I was
I mean, I
alone,
could
maybe
just go out there and
maybe.
take it by force if necessary.
No. I want to get some information from him, and I think we're gonna have to share a little bit. So I'm gonna give you this, Bontran, and give you a crystal.
I have two now.
Can you give me the one back?
Did I give it back to you?
I thought you did.
I think you gave it back to him.
Okay.
No, I'll just give you the one back. In just contingency sakes, you still have the one, but you no longer have that friend, and he's not a part of this group. Yes, Made myself clear. Everyone good for this dwarf to come inside.
Is upstairs cleansed?
Oh, it's all in my bag.
Good.
Actually,
Sure.
Maximil's not here.
What?
She's not in the
Where-
room.
Where did Max go? He was here.
Yeah.
Max was here, but Max walked off.
20 perception.
That person was outside.
Yeah, figured.
17 perception?
Someone was going to go see, like, well, there was a lot going on. There's the bomb in your face, and someone was going to go check and see if upstairs was clear. Is that what you just said? Sorry, I was typing to a couple people.
Oh no,
so-
upstairs is clear. It's all in my bag. I
Yeah,
made sure of that when we
were
came back.
The
asking
things
if
that were upstairs are clear. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
his board of conspiracy.
Yeah. It's not there.
So looking around the room, Max is gone.
Yep.
What do you guys do with Max?
She didn't go out the front door. So
They'll go back upstairs.
I just take the bomb back from. Or no, I'll take that back.
you walk up there, and you see Friandiri up there having a song conversation with Elidris, the other dragon, both in human form, and Maximil joyfully standing there, showing off her new little mushroom familiar, talking to the two of them.
We didn't think you both were coming back.
We stepped out for a moment.
Smart.
But a
Hey.
few things to catch up on, and we stepped out of time for a moment, and now we're back.
Sorry, what?
Calidris
should
very
I-
matter-of-factly just says we stepped out of time for a moment.
We'll get to that.
They're so cool,
Yes.
aren't they? I mean, you guys are so cool.
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
we are at your strange little mushroom friend is. We turned around and you have a whole new tiny friend with you.
Yeah, it happens. I'm still trying to figure out what to name him. But anyways, I'm just glad to know that you guys are safe.
Yeah. Very fine. We had a chat, talked through some things, and understanding now between the two of us. But
Can I insight check that?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that is a 19.
Norel's a bit sour about it. Like, dude almost died. Like someone tried
Right.
to assassinate him. And it was this person that tried to assassinate him. But now that
Yeah.
they understand a little bit more about the details of what was going on, Norel is kind of okay with it. And Calidris is... There was some information exchanged that that made this palatable for Norelth. Like, Norelth knows something he didn't know before now, which has made this very palatable.
Okay.
Good news is we've decided to work together and see if we can root out the rest of the fangs of Kirmi within town. There's something going on with the politicians in town, and we're gonna see if we can suss that out a bit.
To pull here. Oh, speaking of.
Am I inviting the dwarf in? Blinker.
And the rest of you guys, Elric is downstairs with you guys trying to figure out what exactly is going on. Is the dwarf and this scribe with all their stuff getting invited in?
That's the plan.
All right.
I'll unlock the door and open it.
Oh, very exciting. Good to see. Yes.
Yeah,
Try-
hold on 1 second. You come up to me. I gotta search you for weapons and things. Come on,
Sure. Yeah. Very good.
just pat him down. But I'm actually going to look for like materials on him if he's got like any type of crystals or anything that he's carrying from Gwayer.
Nothing from Gwayer. He's got instruments in the cart, or not in the cart, but like attached to the back of the donkey. On him is mostly books and scrolls and leaflets of information that he's collected.
I'm just gonna take them and open them real quick and good. Take this one and open it. And just sorry, just they pay me really well. Do my job. I just gotta make sure.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Once he's clear, I'll usher in.
The scribe basically lashes up the mule outside and starts to unload bags and just doesn't even think about it. Brings them up to you and sets them at your feet so you can go through them. He's got about 4 saddlebags of stuff.
I'm going to. It's going to be painful, but I'm going to open each one and just flip through, see if I see anything interesting at a like quick glance, and like start to separate before they come into the premises.
You want to see if you can glean any information out of them and like what?
Like titles, like just like I don't need to know like the actual names, but like if there's interesting things like at a glance.
Yep.
When I'm just
Phenomancy shows up
parsing
2
through
or 3
those.
times.
Yeah, I'll just separate those into I'll dump out the one bag and make a good bag.
Sure.
And if they all fit, then I'll just move on to the next bag.
Yeah, there's lots of like geological and mineral surveys and all sorts of like crystal information and then expedition information to Guayer, but the phenomancy studies pops up a few times. And then Jatania's name shows up a few times as like a scholar of note on the specific book. So a few things that probably a sack full of stuff that's really relevant to you, and then 3 sacks of like stuff about rocks that you don't care about.
Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. And then I'll go in and shut the door on the scribe.
He kind of looks like he's ready to get like a glass of water or something and takes a step up and walks in the door face first as it shuts in front of him. And he goes, turns around, goes back down the steps, looks down the street, and you see him outside looking around, and he spots a tavern about a half a block away down the road and just sighs and walks that direction. Soren's up there too, Max. So
Oh, okay. I thought that he went back down.
Soren, did you go back downstairs? Are you still standing up there?
No.
So there's a conversation that happens that they're talking about
Yeah.
sussing out some of the politicians in the area, thinking that Fangs of Kirmi might be involved in getting rid of some people.
And Max brings up, hey, there may be changelings involved with that, so keep an eye out. Some people from weird Eternian,
Weird what?
like Eternian, I don't know, I was trying to come up with a...
Oh.
Folks from Eterna have an order, and they're trying to get in with like politicians and like remove them and then replace them. It's a whole shebang. Just be careful about that because they are dangerous. I mean, you guys are very capable, I'm sure, but just knowing about the fact that it may be changelings is probably good knowledge to
Norelf
have.
has no idea what you're talking about, but Curlidris goes, keep eye out.
Okay, cool. You know about Eterna?
I've heard, yeah.
Do you know how to get there?
No. I've never had a reason to leave Udeland before.
Can I insight check that?
Doesn't take one. She's very clear that she doesn't know how to get there.
Okay. Have you ever met someone who's been there?
I can't say that I have.
Okay. Do you have any other questions about that? Soren?
Not at the moment, I suppose.
I know, I
At
have
some
so
point in the
many
near future,
questions for you, Norel, but this is probably not the right time.
right? In some time in the near future, we will have to develop some sort of plan of attack for how we are going to be sussing out these imposters, and we are willing to help because it would be immensely helpful. Figuring out this whole situation with the blind prophet and all that fuckery that's going on beneath the city. We think it's
Do you
related.
guys know anything about that?
Beneath the city.
Yes. Deep.
North kind of looks back at Calidris. You just told me, you should tell them. There's a very good chance that, again, everything's very fuzzy. But I think the Fangs maybe targeting something beneath the city that will it's important to them.
We're
on the clock.
Oh,
would
joy.
Say so. We'll try to figure out what it is, if that is the direction you're going.
Or at least somewhere to begin. It's a fucking maze down there, so I don't exactly want to just go wandering aimlessly.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have that information for you.
That's
Fine.
okay. You've been immensely helpful so far. Thank you. Really.
You're welcome. All right. Heading back downstairs to rejoin the rest of the people as after this conversation upstairs with the two dragons, there's a bit of a hubbub taking time to get all of these books looked through into the room. And finally, Jaeger decides that all the books are clear, slams the door in the scribe's face as you guys are coming down the stairs. And you guys are in with Grandmaster Flintgrip and Elric as they're kind of looking around. They've gotten something to drink, kind of help themselves to whatever like little kitchen you have just to get a glass of water to chill out a bit. Elric has the Flintgrip is starting to ask Botrin a whole bunch of questions that was already at the extent of Botrin's knowledge to begin with, but is pressing Botrin a lot to know, where's this friend that you used to adventure with that found these crystals? You say they're not here anymore? When did they leave? Like yesterday? This morning?
I shoot a look over at Jaeger to see what kind of permission he's willing to give, or if he wants to continue to remain anonymous.
Can you throw an insight check?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'm just curious.
That's an 11.
I guess while you're like talking to him, Jaeger does not blink and does not lose concentration on you, and you just like have this hard time glancing through him. You just feel the presence of Jaeger like burning stare at you, and if you're trying to ascertain that Jaeger is like giving you any leeway, it's an absolute fuck no.
Gotcha. I inform Grandmaster Flintgrip that unfortunately my friend that informed me all this stuff has moved on, and I don't know when the next time I will be able to contact him.
Well, who is it? What's the name? I'm sure I could find someone and get information.
He would like to remain anonymous at this point in time.
Why we got all these books? I'm sure he would have loved to have known what we found.
Well, I do have this.
Is it the crystal?
It is the crystal.
Just boom, snatches it out of your hand and immediately stops talking and starts going through, like looks back to the pile of books and starts like flipping through some of the books back by the door. And Elric addresses you all. Well, you gave him his very excitable rock again, but the long and the short of it, from what I spoke to him, was that this is the first time that they've seen crystallized aether like that. This is the essentially, from what they can tell. Right, answering a question. There are ley lines throughout the world. Fonts of we got a baby that fell down outside the door.
Oh.
I just heard her thump. She's getting picked up, but I just heard her thump and she's crying. It's very sad. From what we've what they've seen at the ley lines is sometimes there is a outpouring of mana, as it were, aether, just raw primal power, but it always appears in a liquid state. Places of great power and are where you can harness these ley line energies and actually manifest their physical form, much like a spring of water. He reaches, like, he sees, looks at the bag of books you're holding. That one, please. The second one.
The dwarf?
You.
No. Dwarf is asking me, or Elric's?
Elric's asking you. Just, you don't have to give it to me. Just open it.
Sure.
Did you hand it to him?
Yeah.
So he flips through. This is one of the work journals of Jitania, and he flips to a page that's kind of got a little diagram of what looks like a laboratory, and in the center is something that looks strangely familiar, almost like the pool that you use to teleport to Kosova with. There is a liquid pool of what's marked in the journal and as pure aether, the exit node and essence of the ley line that lies under Busat. This laboratory was built deep under the aqueducts of Busat, and that there's a terminus to the ley line there, and they were able to harness it and collect it, and it came out in this liquid form. And they were sure that they could, if they could crystallize it, they could attune magic through it, and it'd be incredibly powerful. And it's always been a theory, but this is the first time that they've seen it happen. But I also know that she was very outspoken against phenomancy, and she flips a couple pages later, and he's pointing out some entries that are very interesting in terms of what this was used for. And it outlines the experimentation using this liquid from the ley line, and this documents a few hundred years ago there was a curse that befell the orcs that they were afflicted, and that became known as the Blood Orc Curse, where orcs began rampaging and pillaging, and they were essentially thrown into a murderous caravanning rage, and they started thundering across all of Lemendor. And it was a multi-year war that was eventually curbed by use of magic that affected large groups of people at once. They were able to lift this curse off of the Blood Orcs and cure them of it. And it was done through phenomancy, the very earliest stages of phenomancy. And that experimentation was done underneath Busat in Jutania's laboratory, with a couple handfuls of very powerful wizards from all over the world. And in this she very much speaks out against, like, as he's going through and pointing out passages specifically to outline this to you, but she goes through and talks about the distillation of this liquid aether, this pure magical ley line essence, into a spell powerful enough to afflict multiple people and cure them through phenomancy. And then it goes further to explain how very dangerous phenomancy is, and you see artist renditions and pictures that she etched from memory onto the page of horrible experiments gone awry, where people are mutated beyond belief and turned into hideous monstrosities that they've had to subsequently put down. People who willingly volunteered to try to help solve this problem, that this powerful magic just changed the very core of who they were. And as he's going through explaining it, he finishes with this: by the end of her life, she had condemned phenomancy so reverently that the entire world gave it up. It was locked away and considered black magic, and people don't practice it anymore. It's been outlawed by all civilized peoples. And the vaults below Busat were locked centuries ago. And this knowledge has been locked away inside the deepest libraries in the Luminary Academy. I had to pay a small fortune to smuggle these out today. This information has been lost for a long time. Tyrannical dictators will do that to a people's history. They'll make you forget about things and let those books collect dust on shelves, and the truth about what lies beneath the city was lost to most.
Do the
Suppose
books
you know.
detail where her lab is?
I was going to ask, I don't suppose they have a map.
They don't. Somewhere
Are
far
there any-
into the modern aqueducts and even the more vile sewers in which people had to survive in 100 years ago during Burroughs' reign.
Hey, Soren, you're pretty smart. Do you think you could figure out any context clues in her, like, notes about figuring out where it may be?
Time, maybe. But you have to understand, we kept as close to the surface as possible while still remaining hidden. We knew there was danger below and above in quite possibly equal fashion.
The information you gleaned from the beginning of this, explaining where her laboratory might be, was deep.
Just deep, yeah. Down.
Deep.
Which is kind of what we got from Pick as well.
Yeah.
I think we might just have to go and, as much as I genuinely hate to say it, go and trudge and find it ourselves.
Dungeon delving!
It will most likely take time and resources, so we should gather that while we can and, I suppose, settle business here. Or we...
Well, we did talk about going shopping, right? So
Shopping!
I think that's an idea. We should go to the guild, claim our money from that job we completed and never got paid for. Use that money at the shop to
Elric
get...
pay us?
Elric paid us.
Elric paid
Oh.
us.
They should tell you have two benefactors.
Wait, what?
As soon as I began looking around, I garnered interest from two individuals.
Who?
Oh.
Namely, my guildmaster.
God, what's her name?
Dude, this is like freaking
Hold on.
session 0
I can
stuff.
get it.
Oh!
Wait a
Oh!
second.
Oh!
Gotta go back
I
to
may have it
Master
written down.
Kieran.
I probably have. Session 0, you said?
Yeah. You have one in Atalarix, Malara Dora Sailor. She's the master of extraplanetary phenomenon for the Astrakiran, one of the largest guilds at the academy. There is...
Could you say...
I will write it out for you because Atalarix is her rank. Atalarix is her
right.
constellation, and then her name is.
That's
Malara
right, I remember.
Sailor.
We kept mispronouncing it Telerex.
I have it written down somewhere in here.
Okay.
Astrakiran Guild.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think it
that
was
is old.
Session 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, session 3, we're talking about some stuff.
She sent Diggin on a mission.
She did send Diggin on a mission.
Yeah. Karen.
She
Dedicated stars to the bottom.
she has a vested interest in what you find there. There's rumors that Jutanya's knowledge stretched far beyond just phenomancy, and possibly there's some extraplanar knowledge there that's been lost, and she would love to see it. So she has funded part of the journey, and then the remainder is covered by Pollock.
The name?
You would know Pollock.
Pollock?
P-A-L-L-E-A. Trying to find it. So, you know Pollock as the commissioner of the Silk Grove. And also spoke the eulogy at Jutanya's funeral, was widely known as one of her closest friends and confidants. Yes, when Pollock heard that I was asking around about Jutania, she said any information that we found would be beneficial. Her friend was a very wise and studied wizard, someone that could shed light on many things across the world, and Pollock said if any of that could be brought to light, she would happily pay to do so.
So we're getting paid to do this?
You are being funded to do this. Any supplies that you need will be paid for by the city.
We can put it on your tab. Oh my god, this is amazing.
So, like, anything we may need to do this dungeon delving, we can just say, oh, hey, don't worry. The Guildmaster, Tellerix, and the Miss Pollock will take care of it.
So out of character, there is a limit in coinage on how much you can spend, but I don't have that exact figure yet. But there
Can
is
I get a Holy Avenger?
there is a tab open for you guys. Yes, basically.
Oh my god, we have a tab.
Is the dwarf still here?
The dwarf is like poring over books and like studying this crystal, and he's got his like apparatuses he's setting up to like study and like look into it, and he's just murmuring about how fascinating it is to see crystallized aether.
I can just imagine Jaeger behind him going, "Yeah, I knew that. I knew that." Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. Oh, did you just figure that out? Yeah.
But
So maybe we
Next-
need to
next
fill out
page,
one of
next
those
page.
appointment
Next page.
cards.
Yeah.
What was that?
Maybe we need to fill out one of those appointment cards.
Possibly. Dwarf, young man. I didn't get your name. I'm sorry. Who are you?
Grandmaster Flintgrip, thank you.
Right,
and just
thank
goes
you.
back to-
Well, I have a request, sort of related to your little crystal thing.
He gets his little like goggles and puts them up and like sets the crystal down. Yes.
Can you replicate it?
Possibly, if I was at a source of a terminus of a ley line, potentially.
Right, we might be finding one of those. Can you replicate that?
He like kind of sits up for a moment. I don't know if it's possible for any one person to do this. My current
Well, you have a guild
theory,
at your back, don't you?
our current theory is that the only reason these are forming is much like how your body, when you are cut, forms a scab. Cyorion was wounded at one of its most sensitive points at a ley line, and these crystals are the eruption of pure magic energy trying to seal a broken artery.
The lifeblood of the world.
So I don't know. And that's where we'll go ahead and end today's session. We're a few minutes over. So, thanks everybody for joining us today for some very good tension problem solving there at the a little worried you guys might kill Morfello and poor Tavern before they got to say their piece. But
Maybe.
it was close. I was really concerned. I was like, man, this could go real bad real quick. But we're gonna see what happens. I don't want to ever take away character agency, so I'm glad you guys got the chance to explore that. That was awesome and still very tense for me. And I'm gonna need to get an extra drink tonight. I'm just so
Night, Sam.
night, Sam. Thanks everybody for joining
Night,
us.
Sam.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom.
All right.
Night.
We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Oh, we're not off next week. Yay.
Yay.
Shopping episode.
Woo!
Brief shopping and then dungeon
I
delving.
need 2 ounces of ancient dragon blood.
Oh yeah, sure. Good luck. I don't think they can pay for that. See you guys
Oh,
next
no.
week.
I have a very specific request that I think that little dwarf guy might be able to help with.
Maybe.
Oh.
First,
Alright.
hollowed out. Anyway.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.